Some storms are powerful. Some are historic. And then you get a storm like Melissa, a storm that pushes the very limits of what we thought was possible. What you're about to see is the anatomy of a true monster.
Okay, let's start with this number, 295 kilometers per hour. That was the sustained wind speed when Melissa hit Jamaica. That's a relentless, non-stop force, powerful enough to peel buildings apart. But as insane as that is, it doesn't even tell the whole story.
Because then you have the gusts. A Hurricane Hunter aircraft recorded gusts of 405 kilometers per hour. Just try to wrap your head around that. It's a speed that's almost incomprehensible, and its potential for destruction is off the charts. This led to a forecast that is just absolutely chilling. This isn't me being dramatic. It's a direct quote from meteorologists. Some localities may simply disappear from the map. They were talking about parts of a country becoming uninhabitable for years.
So let's get into it. What exactly happens at the moment of impact? What does it look like when a true monster of the Atlantic Ocean finally makes landfall with all of that terrifying power?
Well, first off, Melissa wasn't just a strong storm. It was a Category 5. That's the absolute highest rating there is. It's the top of the scale. It means even well-built homes can be completely destroyed. It means the power could be out for months. It means the area could be unlivable.
But what really makes a storm like this so devastating? It's not just one thing. It's a terrifying combination of forces, and each one is a catastrophe on its own. Let's really break down the anatomy of this fury.
So get this. Those wind gusts we talked about, they're on par with an F4 or F5 tornado, the most violent ones that exist. But here's the difference, and it is terrifying. A tornado's destruction is narrow and lasts for minutes. Melissa unleashed that same power for hours over a massive area.
And it wasn't just the wind. It was a true triple threat. Yet a storm surge they were calling tsunami-like, a literal wall of water. Then the rain, over 1,000 millimeters in some places, which can trigger floods and landslides big enough to just bury entire communities.
Melissa's power wasn't just devastating on the ground. It was also historic. This storm wasn't just breaking buildings, it was breaking records, putting it into an incredibly rare and dangerous class of hurricanes.
892 millibars. Okay, so with hurricanes, it's simple. The lower the central pressure, the stronger the storm. Think of it like a giant atmospheric vacuum cleaner, just violently sucking everything towards its center. Anything below 900 is super, super rare. It means you're looking at a perfectly engineered engine of destruction.
And just look where that number puts Melissa on the list of all-time most intense Atlantic hurricanes. You've got these legendary storms, Wilma, Gilbert, and boom, right there alongside them is Melissa. This wasn't just the storm of the year. This was the storm of a generation. In fact, experts looking at the data basically said that Melissa was approaching the maximum possible strength for a hurricane in that part of the world. It was a storm running at the absolute red line of what physics will allow. But numbers and data only tell you so much. To really get it, you need to hear from someone who looked this monster right in the eye. This is where the science of the storm slams into the human reality of it all.
So, what does it actually feel like when a storm like this is coming for you and the forecasts are about to become your reality? Well, a meteorologist who flew right into the storm gives us a chilling picture.
Meteorologist Matthew Capucci described the eye wall as a chainsaw. A chainsaw. That inner ring of the most violent winds, he said, would bring tornado-like conditions for up to 3 hours straight. Not just a quick blast of terror, but a sustained, grinding assault.
He paints a picture of a world where everything just fails. Well-built buildings are destroyed, debris turns into deadly missiles, and small cars and SUVs, they're just lifted off the ground. That's the reality inside the eye wall. So that's the reality on the ground in Jamaica. But this thing was an engine, and it was still moving. After that catastrophic impact, where was this monster headed next? After it cut right across Jamaica, the forecast took Melissa toward eastern Cuba, thankfully with a bit less power. From there, the path continued on, putting Turks and Caicos and then the Bahamas directly in its sights. So here's the big takeaway from all this. Hurricane Melissa wasn't just a single awful weather event. It was a signal. It was a glimpse into a future where extreme storms are pushing boundaries we never thought could be pushed. And this leaves us with a huge question. As we see these storms hit their theoretical maximum strength, how do we prepare for a future where the unimaginable isn't so unimaginable anymore? How do we adapt to that? We really hope this deep dive into Hurricane Melissa helped you understand just how powerful and significant these events are. And if you found this valuable, there are a couple of really easy ways you can help us out.
Please take a second to hit that like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us keep making explainers that break down these huge events that are shaping our world. Thanks for watching.